Renee Fong with you on News on 2. Good evening. Sekolah Kebangsaan SK Dama in Jerantut, Pahang will be closed for 5 days beginning today after 53 pupils came down with hand, foot and mouth disease HFMD. The school's headmaster, Zulkarnain Maharudin, said the temporary closure of the school with a total of 368 pupils was made on the advice of the Pahang Health Department. The temporary closure has resulted in SK Dama to officially be the first school affected by the disease in Pahang. The school first detected the outbreak on a preschool pupil on July 16th.
Dimaklumkan bahawa jika masih lagi berterusan penyakit ini, makna sehingga 27 tarikh akhir penutupan itu, kemungkinan akan disambung.
Briefing the media at the school today, he said 2 of the affected pupils are from the Orang Asli community. He added that all parents and guardians have been advised of the situation faced by the school of 368 pupils and 32 teachers. Yesterday, Pahang Education Director Dr. Tajuddin Muhammad Yunus confirmed that SK Dama has been affected by the HFMD outbreak and will be closed for 5 days beginning today on the advice of the Pahang Health Department. In a related development, the hand, foot and mouth disease HFMD outbreak in Pulau Pinang has shown a slight decrease in 24-hour intervals since Thursday, even as the outbreak is showing cumulative increase since it was first detected. Even as the outbreak is showing a cumulative increase since it was first detected.
Mencatatkan penurunan 3 hari berturut-turut sehingga Sabtu. Pada Khamis kita mencatatkan 78 kes, Jumaat 52 kes dan Sabtu 51 kes. Jadi ada sedikit penurunan dari hari ke hari. Walaupun dari segi jumlah kumulatifnya masih tinggi.
Dr. Afif Bahardin, who is Pulau Pinang Health Committee Chairman, added that Penangites are advised to continue to be vigilant about practicing the highest level of personal hygiene to prevent the disease from spreading. 30 premises in the state continue to remain closed, including 6 primary schools, 7 nurseries, 10 kindergarten, 1 daycare center and 6 preschools. Dr. Afif spoke to reporters at Complex Tun Abdul Razak Komta in Georgetown. The Dewan Rakyat was given an explanation on why the government chose to employ soft loans from Japan to pay down national debts. Speaking in Parliament today, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the move would allow Malaysia to reduce the cost of repaying the debt and associated interest of 6% annually by taking advantage of comparative exchange rates. Tun Dr. Mahathir further disclosed that the current national debt status after the recalibration of the cancelled non-beneficial expensive projects will be announced during the upcoming budget 2019. Referring to the 1MDB debacle, the Prime Minister said the previous administration had breached the debt ceiling by issuing guarantees for the wholly owned government company. Hence, when the debt was returned to the government, it spiraled out of control.
Kita sedang cuba mengurangkan hutang itu dengan tidak melaksanakan projek-projek yang tidak berguna, yang begitu mahal. Dan kita juga cuba membayar balik hutang yang diambil oleh kerajaan dahulu supaya kita dapat kurangkan jumlah hutang supaya menurun bawah daripada 1 trilion ringgit. Angka ini akan diperkenalkan dalam bajet yang akan datang.
Tun Dr. Mahathir was responding to a question from opposition leader Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who asked why the government was seeking loans in the Japanese yen. He explained further that the previous government obtained 90% of the loan that they borrowed but had to repay 100% interest of the principal loan amount. Meanwhile, speaking to the media at the Parliament lobby, Tun Dr. Mahathir reminded all government ministers, deputy ministers and members of Parliament to improve their attendance records in Dewan Rakyat and have proper excuses for when they are unable to attend sittings. The Premier said as representatives of the people, they have duties that require their presence during the ongoing 14th parliamentary sessions.
Can attend as much as often as possible, but they are also concerned with other duties. They must attend to those duties because Parliament sits almost the whole day, and people can work for 20 days of parliamentary sitting. They cannot work. That is not practical. We need for them to attend to their bureaucratic work as well.
Last week, Dewan Rakyat Deputy Speaker Nga Ko Ming announced that the cabinet meeting usually held on Wednesdays has been changed to Friday to enable ministers and deputy ministers to attend the weekly cabinet meeting. The Women, Family and Community Development Ministry is looking into improving the country's policy which are related to women's interests to ensure its relevancy in the current situation. Its Deputy Minister Hannah Yeoh said the ministry will conduct an inclusive study, including gathering proposals from various relevant parties before an improvement is made. Speaking in Parliament today, Hannah said discussions are currently being held with academicians and non-governmental organisations as the ministry works towards drafting a gender equality bill.
Sebarang cadangan penambahbaikan ke atas dasar wanita negara dan plan tindakan pembangunan wanita negara akan ditentukan selepas kajian tersebut selesai. Selain itu, kementerian ini juga mengadakan sesi engagement dengan stakeholders untuk memastikan dasar wanita negara tetap relevan.
Meanwhile, in reply to a question posed by Parit Sulong MP Datuk Dr. Nuraini Ahmad, Hannah said the ministry is still studying the proposal of a 30% participation of women at decision-making levels. Police on Saturday seized 156 kilograms of shabu worth 7.8 million ringgit in a raid carried out at a parking lot of a supermarket at about 7:45 a.m. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigations Department and CID Chief Commissioner Datuk Sri Muhammad Saleh said 10 individuals believed to be members of a drug trafficking syndicate were also arrested during raids held simultaneously around Ampang on Saturday.
Bagaimana biasa, kita pun tahu negara serbu adalah bertempat di Tesco Extra Ampang. Tesco Extra Ampang, yang mana kita telah berjaya menangkap 10 ahli sindiket terdiri daripada 8 lelaki Melayu dan juga 2 lelaki Cina tempatan. Daripada rampasan ini, jika ianya jatuh ke pasaran tempatan, ianya boleh digunakan oleh seramai 179,000 tenaga dadah.
Datuk Sri Mahmad said this in a press conference held at the Ampang Jaya Police Headquarters today. He said other items which were also seized included 2 cars consisting of a Toyota Alphard and a Mercedes-Benz, various currencies, jewellery and watches. All those arrested are remanded for 7 days until July 28th to facilitate investigation under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Muhammad said he is awaiting information from the Japanese Metropolitan Police Department regarding 2 Malaysian women being detained there since last Thursday. Last week, the 2 Malaysian women who strapped drugs to their bodies were detained upon arrival at the Haneda Airport in Japan. It is said that both the women from Sabah, aged 20 and 22, concealed 8 packets of shabu that weighed 1.5 kilogram in their bras and sanitary pads.
Jadi kes ni kita sedang berinteraksi dengan pihak polis di negara Jepun untuk kita mendapatkan tentang butiran lanjut kedua-dua tangkapan tersebut. Kita masih lagi menunggu jawapan pada pihak polis Jepun, kerana mereka juga terpaksa menunggu proses siasatan yang dilakukan oleh pihak kastam negara berkenaan. Kerana tangkapan tersebut dilakukan oleh pihak kastam yang bertugas di airport, di Haneda Airport.
The attempt to smuggle 3.3 million ringgit worth of shabu into Tokyo was foiled when customs officers at the airport noticed their suspicious behavior. Bukit Aman believes the two women are being used as drug mules. Bintulu police detained 6 men and a woman and seized 34.07 grams of shabu worth 4,500 ringgit in a raid at a house in Jalan Abang Galau. Sarawak Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department Head Superintendent Saha Abdul Latif said all 7 of them tested positive for methamphetamine. Acting on surveillance and intelligence, police found straws filled with shabu in the pocket of one of the suspects as well as in the living room of the house. Police also found shabu in 4 plastic packets weighing 11.07 grams, 21 green straws filled with the same substance weighing 10.07 grams and 25 other straws in various sizes filled with yellow substance weighing 11.45 grams. Superintendent Sahar said the suspects were between 20 and 32 years old and currently being detained at the Bintulu Central Police Station's lockup. They have no criminal records and were believed to have received the drug supplies from local distributors. The case is being investigated under Section 39A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 and Section 12, subsection 2 of the same Act. The parents of 10-year-old Muhammad Lutakim Abdullah, who died of physical abuse on July 9th, pleaded not guilty in a Kuantan Sessions Court today. The victim's parents, Muhammad Zawani Muhammad Jasni, 30, and his wife, Azrin Junisa, 29, made the plea before Judge Siti Aminah Ghazali. According to the charge sheet, the 2 accused were found guilty of neglecting the victim, not getting him the necessary medical treatment and adequate care. Such negligence caused the victim serious injury leading to death. The charge was made under Section 31, subsection 1, subsection A of the Child Act 2001, read together with the Section 34 of the Penal Code. If convicted, the accused can be fined up to 50,000 ringgit or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 20 years or both. The judge set bail at 15,000 ringgit for each of the accused, with one surety, and fixed August 27 for the case mentioned. During the incident on July 9th, Muhammad Luka Kim was pronounced dead by Hospital Tengku Ampuan Afzan personnel. He had bruises and injuries on several parts of his body besides the burns found on his private parts, alleged to be abused at the hands of his mother. Post-mortem results revealed that the child's death due to bleeding in the esophagus. The first group of Malaysian Hajj pilgrims arrived in Mecca from Madinah at about 1 a.m. local time and were given a rousing welcome by Tabung Haji workers led by Malaysian Pilgrims Delegation Head Datuk Sri Said Saleh Said Abdul Rahman. Datuk Sri Said Saleh said the pilgrims who arrived attired in the ihram robe were taken to perform their umrah at 6 a.m. after resting in their respective rooms. A total of 478 Hajj pilgrims from the first group arrived at Mecca in 11 buses which left Madinah at about 6 p.m. local time. Usually the journey time from Madinah to Mecca is between 4 to 5 hours. However, taking into consideration the time to rest at the R&R area for meals and prayers, the journey could take up to 7 hours. As of today, the Malaysian Pilgrims Delegation Head said 20 chartered flights bringing almost 10,000 Malaysian pilgrims had landed in Saudi Arabia.
Alhamdulillah, selepas ini akan berlakulah kemasukan jemaah haji yang secara lebih kerap daripada Madinah, iaitu pada hari ini juga 23 hari bulan Julai ini akan ada lagi 3 KT yang akan masuk ke Mekah, yang akan bermula dengan pada pukul mungkin dalam pukul 1 ataupun 2 petang, kemudian ada yang pada waktu 6 dan pada waktu malam seperti ini juga.
The last batch of Malaysian Hajj pilgrims is scheduled to arrive in Jeddah on August 15th. The bill for the implementation of the Sales and Services Tax SST, which will replace the GST, is expected to be tabled next week. According to Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato' Liew Vui Keong, a motion to abolish the Goods and Services Tax GST will also be tabled in the Dewan Rakyat next week.
Likely to be on Monday, I think.
Monday.
Yeah.
GST this session also? This session also?
Of course, we have to, because SST has to be introduced before it takes effect by the 1st of September.
Dato' Liu added that the move to abolish the GST will prove easier compared to the motion to implement the SST. The Finance Ministry will submit a draft of the bill prior to the debate in Parliament. $429,945 PTPTN loan defaulters have been taken off the Immigration Department's travel blacklist a week ahead of the previous deadline. Speaking in Parliament today, Deputy Education Minister Teo Ni Ching said the move is in line with Pakatan Harapan's promise to lift the current travel ban on the defaulters, to synchronize with those who took education loans from banks but were only blacklisted from travel abroad after they were declared bankrupt.
Jadi dari segi itu kita rasa kita perlulah konsisten. Kita perlu konsisten. Bukan kerana kita adalah kerajaan, jadi kita boleh buat sewenang-wenangnya. Jadi kalau kita perlu bankrupt seseorang peminjam untuk masuk mereka dalam senarai hitam, kita akan buat pada masa yang akan datang. Kita akan ambil tindakan yang sewajarnya.
Nonetheless, Teo added that although the defaulters were whitelisted, they will be urged to be consistent with their loan repayments to avoid being listed under Bank Negara Secret system that collects credit information on borrowers. A full report on the PTPTN issue is being prepared by the ministry to be presented to the Cabinet in August. Healthcare services at 353 community clinics nationwide will be enhanced to include more doctors, pharmacists, as well as other related services. Speaking in Parliament today, Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said with the improvements to the services, the government is confident that the delivery of healthcare services would be more accessible, especially for rural communities in remote areas.
Kita akan mengambil ini sekaligus dirangkum dalam peningkatan khusus dalam peningkatan penghantaran delivery of a health system khususnya golongan B40 dan khususnya di luar bandar dan pedalaman.
The community clinics, which were previously known as the One Malaysia Clinic, were introduced by the previous government as a healthcare service for the B40 group. In another development, Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said the ministry will organize closed-door dialogue sessions with junior doctors and housemen to discuss issues related to bullies in hospitals. He said although there are channels for them to lodge their complaints, many of them fear stepping forward because they are afraid of being victimized.
Di sini menegaskan bahawa kita bersedia mengadakan dialog dengan junior doctors, house officers atau PPS ini, untuk mengizinkan mereka berhubung langsung dengan sama ada timbalan ketua pengarah kesihatan atau deputy DG ataupun DG sendiri, dan kalau perlu saya sendiri akan terus turun untuk menangani perkara ini to get to the bottom of it.
Dr. Zulkifli was commenting on the findings of a study showing that nearly 80% of junior doctors in Malaysia said they have experienced bullying at the workplace. The study was carried out among members of the Doctors Only Bulletin Board System, DOBS, an online forum which brings together doctors nationwide. The government is working towards overcoming the issue of electricity supply interruptions dogging the residents of East Coast Sabah, following which the power lines in Sabah will be upgraded to increase the transmission capacity from West Coast to East Coast to 400 megawatts from the prior 200 megawatts. Speaking in Parliament today, Energy, Technology, Science, Climate Change and Environment Minister Yeo Bee Yin said 6 projects to strengthen and upgrade the power grids have been identified. These projects will be critical to ensuring the targeted transmission capacity of 400 megawatts can be achieved. The total expenditure of the projects is 840 million ringgit and they are expected to reach full completion in late 2021 or early 2022.
Selain daripada 6 projek ini, Kerajaan juga sedang menimbang keperluan untuk membuat projek-projek yang lain untuk menambah baikkan lagi pembekalan elektrik di Sabah. Sebagai contoh, antara projek yang kita timbangkan ialah projek Southern Link, talian di selatan yang menyambung pantai barat dengan pantai timur dengan menyambung Kalumpang ke Mengalong.
And that concludes this evening's news on 2. In our top story, police bust drug syndicate and seize 156 kilograms of shabu worth 7.8 million ringgit. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Renee Fong. Have a pleasant evening.